Let your voice be heard in the digital conversation.
I am Drusilla, also known as Professor Drew, and I'd like to welcome you to my webinar, Let Your Voice Be Heard in the Digital Conversation. In this webinar, you're going to learn how to spice up your text-based communication in computer documents, programs, emails, internet sites. We're going to focus on using a variety of free tools that are already on your PC or Mac-based computers. This is the structure of the webinar. We'll do a brief introduction talking about voice technology, why voice technology, some genealogy uses, look at hardware and software, and then finally we'll look at how to record, edit, and upload your voice files. The human voice. The human voice is full of emotion. It could change at the drop of a hat. With the human voice, you can show mood, emotions. It might indicate the ages or gender of individuals. The sound of the human voice is extremely powerful and conveys a wide range of emotions, such as moods. Not only can we see from the picture of this crowd that they're a happy crowd, but we can also hear their cheers. With our voice, we have the ability to change our voice, such as when we greet a friend.
Hello, how are you?
Or we can further change it if we are comforting someone who's grieving.
I'm so sorry for your loss. Is there anything I can help you with?
Well, why should we add voice messages to documents and to our digital conversations? Because it communicates personality, mood, and emotions. And here we see this soldier, just based on the look on his face, we know that he's not saying good morning to his soldiers, and we won't say all that he probably is saying. Other reasons why we should add voice messages to our documents: it adds a multimedia touch to documents, and in the long run, it saves time because people typically talk faster than they type or write. This picture here is one of my distant cousins. I never met her, but I did have met one of her daughter, her only daughter. This is cousin Isabel, who is a distant cousin on my maternal grandmother's side. And I just love this picture. I love the way that she's dressed, just the background with the old phone and everything. And I imagine her saying, hello, Cuttin, if she's talking to one of her cousins. And what that word Cuttin is for that particular side of the family, which is out of Warren County, North Carolina area, instead of addressing their cousins as Cousin Joan or Cousin Emma and so forth, they, for whatever reason, that generation addresses their cousins as Cuttin. So I imagine, just in looking at this picture, I imagine Cousin Isabel, if she's talking to one of her cousins, Emma, she might say something like, "It's so good to hear your voice." Cousin Isabel rather, migrated to Pennsylvania area. I'm not sure when, but this photo, according to family members, was probably taken in around 1940. And surely when she migrated to Pennsylvania, surely she would have kept in touch with her relatives back in North Carolina. Genealogy uses for this voice technology. Well, there are a variety of things that you can do, such as research notes. To use the voice technology, rather than type your research notes, you might record them verbally, whether you're recording them on your computer or your some kind of other digital or mobile device. You can use it to record voices of children at different ages. Of course, we know that we can use the voice technology for oral history interviews, or even verbal explanations and comments to yourself about your research documents. And so we see here a variety of uses there. Some other uses that with voice technology, we can incorporate those into our family tree software. And most of your major family tree software, if you have a pretty updated version, they have the ability to add audio files along with your pictures and so forth. We can also use audio in our genealogy presentations or our family reunion presentations using PowerPoint. Using voice adds as an extra piece to it rather than just having all text and pictures and so forth. You might add some voice clips, or either you narrate parts of your presentation. There are a variety of things you can do that. And of course, you can use that with speech or presentation excerpts. And at the end of this webinar, I will demonstrate of incorporating voice into a PowerPoint. Hardware. In order to use voice technology, the hardware you need, and you could use a variety of sources, but if you have a computer, it could be from a desktop, laptop, netbook, iPad. Of course, the computer needs to have a sound card. And there was a day, I guess back in the day, the early days of computers, where a sound card was not standard. However, a sound card is now standard in your computers. And this just shows an example of a sound card for a desktop computer in case you've never seen one. If you look in the back of your computer, you'll see here this metal piece here where this is where you're plugging in your speaker and microphone and so forth, just in case you want to know what one looks like. Additional hardware you need. Computer speakers, whether those computer speakers are external or internal. You need some type of microphone, whether it's the stick-con headset. Many of your webcams now also have microphones, so you might want to use that. What I'm using for this presentation now is this stick-style microphone, and it's kind of hard to see, but on the base of it, it has an on-off button. It is also a USB port, and I really like this particular microphone. It's a higher quality microphone, picks up the sound really in a great way, and it also works on my netbook. Some of the other types of microphones don't work as effectively on my netbook. On my netbook, when I use some of the other types of microphones, when I'm recording a voice file, I get a buzzing sound. However, when I use this particular microphone, I do not get that particular buzzing sound. Additional hardware in many of our mobile devices that we already have. Most people have a cell phone or in fact, today when you ask people, instead of asking people, do you have a cell phone? Typically today you ask, what is your cell phone number? So, because it's kind of understood that most people do have a cell phone. And with your cell phone, there's a voice recorder element, even on your basic cell phones. You might also, another type of mobile device is a voice recorder, a digital voice recorder, and this is an example of a voice recorder that I have, which I purchased from Walmart. I like this particular one because it has the USB port. I just slide it out. I hit a little device on the back, and I just slide it out, slide the USB port. I don't have to have a separate cord. And so these are examples of some types of hardware that you need in order to use the voice technology. You can also, as far as hardware, you can also use the telephone. You can use sites like Yodio, YODIO.com, and I'll talk a little bit about that in a little bit later in the webinar. You can use a telephone, whether it's a landline or a cell phone. And with that, you can record your voice. You call into a number, you record your voice, it saves it on a website, and then you can do slideshows with that. Software. Some of the types of software that you need. If you're using a PC or Mac, then there's free software with a PC or Mac. Windows, you can use the Windows Sound Recorder. You can use Windows Movie Maker, which it has a sound component, as well as you can do video and pictures with that. If you're using a Mac, Mac has the iMovie. There are also a variety of free tools that you can download from the internet. And I already mentioned Yodio. If you want to do podcasting, you can go to sites like Podbean, podbean.com or mypodcast.com, and you can record there and upload those files into a podcast format. And I already mentioned some of these here. If you want to take a look at some various types of software, and some of those are free, and some might be you have to they give you free for a certain period of time. You can go to freedownloads.com to try out software or look for some free software.